ones, if they're big enough to not have school, it's 1 day off.
Recording.
Okay, so welcome. This is the Personnel Committee meeting for Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. And in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and may be broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel. Town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. And all town facilities are currently closed to the public in accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. General laws, chapter 30A, section 20, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. This meeting will be recorded and will be available or will be able to be found on Lunenburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to view the meeting remotely. To view remotely from a computer, use a Zoom link, or from a telephone, dial 929-205-6099. If you have not registered with Zoom, you'll be asked for your name and an email address. No participant ID is needed, just press pound when asked. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items may not, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. So as a call to order, the first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from December 29th, 2020.
I would make a motion to accept the minutes of December 29th.
Have a
Second.
All right.
There's one grammatical error and one spelling mistake. Under general discussion, Dave McDonald reminded the group we had not completed our discussion on how to insure. It should be ensure with an E. And under the motion, at the very end, the last sentence, the adjourn is spelled wrong.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
With those two changes, can we vote to approve the minutes?
Yep.
So, Joanna,
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Eric is aye. Sue,
Aye.
and am I correct? Everyone else is guess?
Yes.
All right. So I guess that's everyone. All are in favor. Minutes are approved. Old business. We have the SAP longevity amendment discussion.
So a couple of employees wanted to hear about the recommendation from the committee on how we're going to change it to a flat dollar rather than a percentage.
Mr. Chair, if I may, this was discussed at the last meeting that you were not here to attend.
Yeah, go ahead.
And basically, I would request, Mr. Chair, through you, Julie, describe what we approved last week, so we're all on the same page for the last meeting that we had.
Last meeting?
Yes.
Yep. So to be in sync with the other contracts, all the contracts are now a flat dollar amount versus a percentage, except for the SAP. The SAP was the last plan to convert to a flat dollar amount. So for this town meeting, we're recommending changing to a flat dollar amount, which would mirror the clerical union's longevity payment schedule. Those that are already receiving a longevity amount will remain at their current amount until they hit the next highest level. There's currently 4 that this would affect. And they've been notified. Yeah, so they just wanted to have a discussion. I think there were some questions or concerns.
Mr. Chair, if I may, before we start, I think I'm one of the oldest members on the committee now. When this was done according to our bylaws and as far as our procedures, we approved it last December. As you know, we've been striving to get everybody equal with the union rates. I know this year we've had some difficulties with COVID, and I know the recommendations that came out were, can everybody hear me okay, by the way? Okay. I know the recommendation that came out, we approved it. Now, I have been getting phone calls, which surprises me, from other members of town employees. And I asked a lot of them to come here tonight because I know there's some difficulty. But normally when we pass something, example, the last time with Sue Doherty, for example, I'm pretty sure our bylaws and the way we've been doing business has been to wait until town meeting for approval. This case, however, I think some people want to know directly as far as, because they don't have a union rep, they're looking for an employee rep. And I think the employee rep is all of us. And I think in the future, to correct some of this would be to maybe just post a meeting that entails any changes to the SAP to existing employees. But we have employees on the phone that it won't affect them for a while, and why it has to be taken addressed. That would be my recommendation. But in the meantime, Mr. Chair, I'd like to open it up to everybody here on the floor. Thank you.
Sure. Are there questions from some people about the longevity amendment?
I have a question just as a newbie to this committee. It says annual on the bonus is an annual bonus. Is that correct? It's not just that when you hit a milestone, it's every year thereafter?
No, it's five-year increments, but it's given on their anniversary.
So then the wording in the article is incorrect. It says, shall receive an annual bonus.
Payable in the first pay period after the employee's anniversary date. That's for 10 years of employment.
But the word annual bonus indicates that it is yearly, beginning and payable on the first pay period, and then every pay period thereafter on the annual date.
That is correct. It is given annually.
Oh,
Oh,
it
it
is
is?
given annually.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it at the
Wow,
10-year, they'd get it annually at that amount until they reach the next category.
Okay. Thank you, Heather.
I have a question.
Yep.
So if longevity is based solely on years of service, which is what Julie confirmed with me, shouldn't all the employees receive the same amount? Shouldn't the SAP employees receive the same amount as police, fire, and DPW? If it's based solely on years of service?
Mr. Chair, I think Heather has her hand raised. Heather, do you have your hand raised?
Yes, I can answer that. So the positions within the SAP are the most comparable to the clerical union. And all those longevity rates with the other unions, those were negotiated over time.
I don't see how the SAP employees are similar to the clerical. They are mostly department heads, managers, and coordinators, and the clerical is assistants. They don't have the same salaries, they don't have the same positions, and they don't have the same hours. There are 7 part-time employees in the clerical. There's only 2 in the SAP. I don't see the comparison between the positions.
The clerical union actually uses the SAP as a comparable analysis for compensation. So we feel that it's the most comparable. And that was the recommendation.
Chair, can you look at your board, Mr. Chair? Do you have another hand up?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I know, it might be not affected by anybody else, but I feel like it's probably a small percentage for you guys, but for us, it really affects us only because the clerical union, like their floating holidays, they get the full day, but the staff doesn't. And there's some other difference also, while the clerical union gets, while the staff doesn't. Plus, in my part as a head department, sometimes there's will be time that, you know, I'll do more extra. 36 hours is not enough to do my job. I end up doing a what you call the extra hours to do what necessary for me to do my job. But it falls down to the what do you call that? Um, what's the word? It can take to other days, but I end up losing them because there will be too much to take, and
Right.
I don't think that I can able to do that. And I just think of donate it to the town, because I need to do what I have to do in order to do what necessary for my job to meet all the needs in the office and all the reporting and everything. But to remove that small percentage out of me, it's like more like tapping me in the back, for doing a good job or trying hard for the town, and giving my extra hours just to do whatever it takes to finish what needs to be done. And to take that away from us, just to, put us same level as clerical union, where we are not, is a little bit, you know, sad for my part, at least, Um, I guess that's what my thing is, because there's always a difference between clerk and staff in terms of, the service, and also what they have and what we don't have. So that's all my piece to it.
So again, I missed the discussion, but does this does changing to a flat rate, does that decrease anyone's longevity amount bonus?
Yes.
Nobody currently receiving it. They'll be red circled at their current amount till they hit the next highest pay range.
So it would impact new employees?
Yeah. As would the sick buyback. That doesn't exist anymore either. So.
We had a question.
Barb has a question.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to second Mylene's thoughts that we do put in a lot of extra time. Also, that Heather mentioned that the unions have been negotiating all along and gotten the DPW, fire, police where they are at today. We have no union reps. We have nobody fighting for us, and that's why we're kind of all here today. We have nobody to air our complaints to. So here we are. It's not fair to take away something from us. And like you said, like Mylene said, we put a lot of time in, and also just not equate us with the clerical union.
I have my hand up. I don't know if you see it, Eric. I don't know how to.
I did, but yeah, go ahead, Joanna.
And then Casey.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, you were first. Go ahead, Joanna.
No, first I want to thank you all. I know how hard you all work. I do agree with what you said, that you don't have a 37.5 or 40 hours. I don't know what the clerical staff works. As a town clerk in Maynard, you go above the 40 hours a week, and I totally am witness that and bear to it. And so I want to thank you all for what you do every day. And to touch on something that was said at the beginning of the call, I guess I'm new to the personnel. It's my first year here on the committee serving. So I do agree that when there's negotiation within a union, there's two sides that come, and they kind of discuss what they want and come to a decision on that. And I guess I really do agree with having an employee person kind of be a part of this committee as well, to facilitate what aspect on your side to speak to, because I guess I didn't, as it was coming to me to a vote, I just, read the thing and said that sounds good to me. So not knowing the personnel side of it was really an hindrance on my behalf. So I think that might be something, I don't know what the bylaws or charter say about the personnel committee and who serves on it. That's something I'll research after this call, now hearing all of this. But what is it exactly going to the one-time payment was lost by existing members?
Well, first of all, I think it's the percentage. If it takes on the, I think it's gross income, if I'm not mistaken or something, it's going to be less compared to a percentage. When you're calculating a percentage is a little bit more, not too much, but it's still, it's still a dollar amount that we're talking about. I mean, and it's more like a bonus, just like, for us. I think it's, something to look forward to yearly. But if they rounded it off, it's still the dollar amount that you're going to be losing every year, And like I said, we are so different from clerical union because they have something and we don't have. So it's kind of like, wash on the other side of it, because they have more hours when they are taking floating compared to us. So that's one side of difference too. So there's a lot of difference between us and them, because they are clerical, they work as their hours if need be. But us as a staff, we have to work to finish what needs to be done.
Correct.
And I think, by removing that, it's like, I feel like we're underdog or something.
Right. But with the change that was made, is there a financial loss to you on the phone today by doing what we
Yes,
did?
it will be. It will be. Like you said, it's a percentage. It will have a loss.
Mr. Chair, if I could, that's a very good question, Joanna. Julie, what would the financial loss be?
I don't have their calculated, I don't have their salaries or anything calculated. I guess 2% on probably what they received.
So I think.
It's currently at 2%.
I can just,
Mr. Chair, Heather Lemieux would like to speak.
just add to that, like the loss, potential loss would not be until after year one. Like, so next year's would be what they'd be receiving anyways, and they'd be red circled at that amount.
So,
And I just have a question also in the other side that they said about the paid sick or something, sick, buyback of sick time. I do remember when they changed that, some of us that's been in the town hall, I thought we are grandfathered to it. I'm not, I just want to double check on that part, that if that's still, before I took the position as a treasurer collector, I am a clerk, back then. I do remember they told me that I was grandfathered. I just want to make sure that's still in effect about that buyback sick time or something.
It should be, the wordings in the SAP.
So again, I apologize, I missed the last meeting, but I missed the discussion, but this would be, this longevity payment is for anyone in the SAP regardless of their title. So for example, if someone was, well, a lifeguard for 10 years, they would get the same, under this new model, they would get the same longevity bonus.
They're not benefited.
Okay, so who is included in this then?
All of us that you see here, minus obviously the committee and Heather, but I believe Heather's longevity falls, her contract silent on it, so it falls back to the SAP. And I can think of one more, the land use director.
DPW director, not today, but in the
Here.
future.
Yeah, he's here.
So this only applies to,
Benefited at SAP.
okay. And what did, like, if you're looking at the job, you know, the grades and stuff, who gets benefits then? How would we know that?
It's based on hours, not their grade. If they're benefited part-time, so 20 hours more.
So they have to work how many hours to receive benefits?
20.
So I'm guessing the number, okay. So if
There's
a lifeguard would not be considered benefited because it's just like seasonal and.
right. Can you see the hands raised, or is that something only I can see?
Yeah, I get Casey probably would be next. He's
Casey, yeah, then
up
Sue.
like 20 minutes, yeah. Sorry,
Go
Casey.
ahead, I don't know if you're done.
Am I all set?
Yeah,
Oh, hello, everybody. For everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Case. I'm the building commissioner in town. But I don't receive any longevity at the moment, obviously, but I'm just curious, does the money amount change yearly with cost of living increase, or is it gonna stay the flat fee for the next X amount of years?
As I understand it, it's a flat fee until you hit the next 5-year increment.
Because the way it is now would be a percentage of your salary, which would go up every year, depending on what your cost of living increase was. So every year you'd get further behind, I guess is kind of my point. I think benefits in general are important to towns in order to attract and keep good people in their positions. So I was just curious about the percentage change.
Is that true? It increases currently 2% every year?
Well, right now it's a percentage of your salary, so it would increase with your salary increasing.
But that's every year, okay.
is that correct, Heather?
Yep. Well, we have an approved cost of living adjustment through fiscal 22. That would have, for the years following, that would have to be voted on again at a future town meeting.
Okay. And I guess was a reason for this change just to kind of manage costs in the sense that the town could budget more easily for these bonuses if they knew it would be the same for a 5-year period, or?
It's been a goal of the board to make all the agreements the same as far as a flat amount for longevity, because longevity should be based on years of service and not on your salary. So, you know, someone who makes less but has been here 20 years as well, longevity is based on years of service.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I think when we were talking about this at the first time, we were trying to keep track with the union side of it as well. And that's why And we were advised to look at this at that last meeting, and Heather, if I'm not mistaken, that's why we're doing it, is to keep the plateau level between the unions and the SAPs. Is that correct?
Right, we try to achieve uniformity as much as possible. So, yes.
So, Mr. Chair, I think at the last meeting, it was not to take money away from anybody at all, and you know that I go on the personnel committee. But we go with our recommendations from town manager who's doing the budgets and try to keep it fair all the way through, which is what we've been trying to do. But I also understand that, you know, you need concerns. I'm glad everybody is here tonight talking about it, because before it goes to town meeting, if it has to be adjusted, let's do it before it does that. Thank you.
I think Sue Doherty has a question.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to add that another position in town that is salary admin is my outreach coordinator, Pauline Roy. So she's affected by this also. She's only been there for, I think, maybe 3 years now, but she's another person on there. But is there also some EMTs on here with the fire department? Or there used to be?
The call,
I'm not sure, but I seem to remember from listening in on things before that there was some fire department personnel that were involved too on the salary admin plan.
Not ones that would be getting a longevity. Anyone who's benefited would be covered under the fire collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, so basically this is just instead of the 2% every year, it's every 5 years you just jump up to the next level. Is that how it works?
Yes.
When you reach that plateau? Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, that's all. Thank you.
All right. Joanna, did you have another question?
I did not, I just did not unraise my hand.
Okay. All right, was there any further discussion on this matter before we move on to the next network administrator job description?
Mr. Chair, I just have one more question about it. In the job description, it says after reaching 10 years employment. Is that continuous service employment or just employment? All of the other milestones say continuous employment.
My guess would be the intent was continuous, but
Then we probably should change that. Because it implies that you could leave and come back, combine those
yeah.
timeframes.
Would that be your understanding too, Heather?
Yes, yeah. I would make it all, they should be continuous.
Okay.
And one other, there's in the second sentence of the article, Schedule A as follows, the position of the position. I think that needs to be tweaked.
okay, we haven't gotten to the article yet, so we can
Oh,
address
sorry.
it there. Thank you.
All right, so that'll be the third item there.
Mr. Chair, you have another member with their hands up.
There's a few of them.
Mylene,
Mylene, okay.
I'm pleading and asking for the board to reconsider about the changing on the staff longevity, to reconsider us to at least, if changes, but not losing anything, I know it might be not be for you, it's not a big deal, but I think for us it's really a really good deal. To lose percentage every year is something for us, And that's why I'm asking all the boards to reconsider, please.
All right. Barb?
Yes, I'm sorry. That was basically what I was asking for. And also, I believe in this latest kind of leveling that the clerical union received a bump from the new numbers. Is that correct?
These are the same numbers as the most current clerical union numbers.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I would just like it to be thought about again, because it does impact people that are working hard and pulling extra time. And it's not quite fair.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yeah, I didn't know if Joanna had her hand up too.
Yeah, let David go first.
I would like to throw this out there. I don't want to reverse our decision tonight. I don't think it's our authority to do that. I think now that there's a dialogue, I'd like to have Heather and Julie look at it again and talk to the people that are here, and then come back to us before town meeting and make a recommendation. Because we don't know the details as far as every employee's pay. We just know what we were being instructed. So my recommendation would be to let the administrative work with the employees and come back to us in the near future. That would be my recommendation anyways. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, that's what I was going to say. Because I would like to see the financial impact of the two, to see what was lost or what was gained by the change that we did. So if we can take, a couple salaries, and I don't need the employee's name, and just look at the two different ways and see the costs or the impact financially, then we can better make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, if just looking at the salary schedule, I mean, the financial, if you took a percentage of, yeah, I guess we could go by a couple examples. My guess is it's a pretty small difference from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 until you get to the next 5-year period. But I suppose we could take a couple samples and see what that is. So
We can run those.
Yeah, there's only 4. It won't take no time. Can schedule a meeting quickly.
Mr. Chair, I know we're trying to make it a level field on everybody. So if at the end of the day, nothing changes, then nothing changes, and there's a reason for it. But I think the employees in town should be aware of the changes and why they're being done. I'd like to recommend that we do post our meetings. I know on our website, it was brought to my attention by a very dear member that we're on there once a month, and we don't meet once a month. So I think the communication with us and to the employees is very crucial as well. I'd like to change that if we could, and maybe if it pertains to all SAP employees, make sure that's posted to all the employees in town, with or without any interest in it, but it should be done across the board. If it doesn't pertain to any employees, like our regular meeting that we're having later on, then so be it. It doesn't have to be sent out to every employee. Thank you.
Dave, you're talking about when our meetings are scheduled, that everyone be notified?
Yeah, I think like tonight, like I said, I was getting phone calls from people that have nowhere near, we're talking about 4 employees who are impacted. That's who we should be talking with, not the whole town. But on the other hand, they're all employees of the town. It will affect them somewhere 5 years from now or whatever. So everyone should be told, right or wrong. It's the reason why we're doing it. I mean, we just went through a COVID-19 period. I know budgets are tough everywhere, but I think communication is very important. Always has been, and always will be. I think it's something that we should look at. How do we communicate?
Go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, I agree with Dave on that. When it comes to what's going on with the employees affected by whatever the SAP is doing, if maybe like, we send out agendas to our Council on Aging when we have a meeting every month with what's going on. So specifically, if it involves the people right here or who it's going to affect, if they could get an agenda and a heads up, I think that would be good.
Okay. Joanna, did we have another question?
Mr.
No,
Chair,
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I think we now need to hear from Julie and Heather. Is that recommendation good with them, or how do we want to handle it from here?
Yeah, that works fine. As long as we can get all the wording for the article in time, because the deadline is March 15th,
Today's date is, what's today?
the 24th.
Right. And as far as notifying any like impacted SA, I know agendas are posted on the website. Is there an easy way to notify members of the SAP of, like include them on an email of the agenda? Whenever, because we do have kind of irregular meetings, right? We might have 2 in a month and might not have one for a couple months.
We can just create a special listserv for the SAP employees.
All right. Thank you.
And one more question, Heather, this represents 4 employees coming up for a town meeting. Mr. Chair, nothing can get really done until we go to town meeting. Just keep that in the back of our heads. So even though we're talking about this now, it still goes above the town. The town will do the final say, yes or no.
Okay, so I think at this point we'll move on to the next item, the network administrator job description correction.
So this was just strictly changing it from a non-exempt to exempt status. It's clearly an exempt position.
All right. Any discussion about that? All right. And then, so is there any action we need to take on that, Julie, or can we move on?
No, you have to approve the change. Last time it was approved as a non-exempt position.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the change to a exempt position instead of non-exempt?
I put a motion that we change the job description for noted.
Second.
Favor, Joanna?
Babe, is that your TV?
I said aye. I don't know if you heard
Oh, is
me.
it Joanna's TV?
No. I said aye.
Eric.
Me. Julie, can you like mute everyone and start over?
Well, if I do that, you guys are doing your roll call vote.
We can unmute ourselves if we need to.
Okay. A flush?
I'm an aye.
All right, thank you, Joanna. Dave?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So it passes.
Did you get Sue?
I'm sorry. Sue's on the phone.
She's muted. You're muted. There you
I'm
go.
an aye.
All right.
Did-
All right, so that passes unanimously. The SAP salary schedule update.
So this was something at the last meeting that we had discussed, kind of fell off the table because of COVID, but actually we already have a salary schedule through FY22, so no changes will take effect until the next salary schedule. So this won't be touched upon for a few months at least. Just has to be approved for next town meeting, May of 2022.
Where, I'm looking for an attachment, Julie, that, are you referencing this?
For the schedule update,
Yeah,
it's a verbal. It's a verbal update. There's nothing to provide yet. I have worked on a new schedule, but because we already have our FY22 schedule approved, there's nothing that we can change at this point.
all
So
right,
it won't take effect till FY23.
all right, so there's nothing for us to take action on.
No, so the update is basically saying as of the last meeting in December, you guys wanted an updated schedule provided to you. I could provide that, but there's no point at this time. It's a year away.
And I was doing some organizing over the past couple of weeks, trying to clean up my old stuff, and I had found that we had kind of, I don't know, played around with the idea of reducing the number of
Grades.
grades.
That's
Would that fit in to this future discussion?
yes,
Yeah, all right,
that's exactly it. And adjusting it for minimum wage purposes. Yeah.
all right. So we'll discuss that at a future meeting.
Yes.
All right. All right, so new business, we have a personnel action form. And that is is that the board clerk secretary?
No, this was sent through DocuSign
Oh,
for the firefighter EMT going from full-time to call.
yep. So, I mean, that's something that we signed through DocuSign. Do we need to
Nope.
vote on that?
Normally, we would sign it at the table, but yes, in COVID times, DocuSign. That is circulating, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There's
This
no,
still need to be voted on.
just making sure. Okay. And then we got position description reviews, election worker, assistant to the sewer business manager, and board clerk secretary. How about we start with the board clerk secretary?
Is Barb still here?
Yep.
Yes, so Barb and Rob are here. You want to start with the assistant to the sewer business manager? That falls under the DPW. And since they're here, we might as well start with that one.
Excuse me, before we start, Mr. Chair, I'm the chairman of the sewer commission. I just want to make it known that I can either advocate for this position or withdraw from this position if needed. But as a chair of the sewer commission, I strongly recommend that we fill this position for the future of our business as far as the enterprise fund for the town of Lunenburg. So it would have to be your decision if you want me to be involved with it, or I can step back. I don't know what you want me to do.
No, I mean, I think your input would be valuable. I don't really see it as a conflict of interest, so.
I don't either, but I just want to make sure that's.
Yeah, you're in. Thank you. Did, Julie, were you saying would Barb have some input here?
Yep, so this falls under DPW director. Have you met Rob yet?
No.
Okay, Rob, meet Eric. Rob. Rob's our new DPW director.
Hey, Eric.
So under his position is the sewer business manager, which is Barb's position. And this position is being created as a part-time position, assistant to the sewer business manager. So we've created a job description, and you can see how we recommend the grade 8 and the SAP, and some of the duties that this position will be responsible for. Have you all had a chance to review it?
Yeah, so are we looking to approve the job description, approve the addition of this position, or both?
Both.
Mr. Chair, if we could, Barbara, could you give a little bit of history of what we're doing here with this position?
Sure. I've been in the position since 2008, and basically the customer base has doubled since I started, and the workload is huge. And we send out quarterly billing throughout the year, and so many times different activities that are going on conflict with trying to get bills out on time, and that's where we make our revenues. So it's been on my mind for a long time to get some help in this position. I am also getting closer, excuse me, to retirement. This position has a lot of different fingers and different pies, and there's just a lot of background that someone coming into this position would need to know. It would be a very hard transition if I were to leave suddenly, or with it even 2 weeks notice or whatever, to have somebody up and running. So our thought was that this person would be here assisting, but also learning the ropes of the position. And then we have the option of, when I do retire, that person could move up, but I still do think that this department still needs an assistant.
Okay, thank you. Did any personnel committee members have questions about the job description or the position?
I actually see a typo.
There's act-
Under
there's
the job
thing-
title, it says administrative assistant 2. And in the main title, under Town of Lunenburg, it says assistant 2. I think that's supposed to be administrative assistant 2. You see it right in the header?
Yep.
Okay.
So you just got to add the word administrative assistant, or
Yeah.
administrative before assistant there.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I can, I'd like to ask Rob and Barbara a question. Have you guys reviewed this document carefully?
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
fill the requirements that you all talked about?
Yeah, it does. And, there's always in other duties as assigned. So it's pretty comprehensive, but I think, the job is going to be open to learning Barbara's position. So, as this person has been with Barb for a little while, they're going to be learning, and, they're going to take on probably more responsibility, or at least what's in the description. But my hope is that this person would become well-rounded, a well-rounded employee within the sewer department.
Mr. Chair, if I can add something as a chair of the sewer commission. I feel this is important to fill this or have this position in our SAP, just because of the way the business has been growing, and for a backup. When you run a business, you need a backup of everything. And Barbara's been shown to have great dedication to the town, and working with Rob on the short period of time. I'm very proud to be working with these guys, but I think a backup at this point to learn the business is important right now. Thank you.
And the grade of 8 is, it seems like that's comparable to other admin assistant, or I'm seeing like, accounting clerk, assistant, assistant town clerk. That seems like the right grade to have it at? And would that be people's opinions?
And again, I would have to refer that to Julie, and just for a note, Julie's been doing a great job with these and helping not only the sewer commission, but other departments throughout the town, but Julie, I know you must have did some research on that to come up with that.
Yeah, so looking at the pay scale and other administrative assistants, yes, grade 8 was accurate.
And Mr. Chair, this would be a non-benefit position, is that correct, Julie?
Correct.
So what's that, 19 hours?
Yep,
I think.
up to 19, yep.
All right, if there's no further, oh, we got hands up, okay. Donna,
I wondered if this was budgeted. Can the budget handle this? It's an addition, correct?
Go ahead, Bob.
May I
Yeah,
speak? The sewer commission operates under an enterprise fund. And they are fully funded, so it would not affect, Heather, you probably might, there may be some liability, small indirect costs that might be affected, but generally it would be covered under the enterprise fund.
Thank you. Other than that question, there's a few suggested changes to the job description, if you don't mind, Julie. Under the job environment, it says attends evening meetings as needed. For consistency to some of the other job descriptions, it should potentially say whether in person or virtually.
Okay.
Under essential functions, the third paragraph is missing a period. Sorry, I'm nitpicky stuff, but and then it looks like under education and experience, first sentence has an apostrophe after 2 years. I think that should be removed potentially. And then under knowledge, ability, and skill, under knowledge, where it says town bylaws, bylaws is a proper noun, so it should be capitalized.
Where is that?
Under knowledge, ability, and skill, under knowledge.
The knowledge, okay. Oh yeah, I see it, okay.
I was just going to add, as far as explanation about the impact to the budget, this position is expected to begin till fiscal 22, and it's in the sewer enterprises budget for fiscal 22.
Which, by the way, I invite all of you to come and watch our finance committee meeting on March 11th. It's great entertainment, and you get to see how we talk, and we'll talk trash at the sewer at that. But it's, write it down, March 11th, 7 o'clock with the finance committee.
when does FY 22 start for the town?
July 1.
Joanna, I'm not sure if you had a question or if that's just the old hand still up there.
It's still the old hand. I can't figure out how to get rid of it.
All right,
I'll just talk if I have a question.
sounds good. Okay, so with those typo or corrections to the job description, can we approve this with those changes? Can we have a vote to approve those with those changes? Is that?
Yeah, grammatical doesn't impact anything you approve. That's just, it's a grammatical that you have to fix. It doesn't improve, it doesn't change the intent of the statement. So I would make a motion to approve.
You got a second?
Second.
Seconds. All right, so I'm just gonna go in the order here that I see you guys. So Joanna,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
and Sue.
He's muted.
Sue, you're muted.
Aye. Aye.
And I will be an aye. So that is unanimous.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to thank Rob and Bob for all their hard work they did to get this going, and we look forward to working with them for the rest of the year 2000 and looking forward to 2021.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you all for considering this tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So the next thing is town meeting article.
Two more well,
Oh, no, yeah, election worker and board's clerk secretary, okay.
yeah, so we can skip over the election worker. We don't have a job description for that. We're trying to I have a draft job description for election worker, but after talking with the town clerk, it seems that we're gonna have to have two different job descriptions, one for election worker, one for registrar. So if you look at the article, you'll see, what did I put in there? The two positions in there, but I think we should have a discussion on why we're adding them to the SAP and if both positions should be on the salary admin plan. And to continue on that, the goal was to pay both job titles at minimum wage. And after talking with the town clerk, it sounds like she said the registrars where they work year round should be on the SAP, but the election workers are paid as a stipend. So I thought maybe as a committee, we could discuss your thoughts on whether to add both positions to the SAP or to leave them, or maybe just add the one registrar position.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Dave.
I'd just like to give the recommendation. I would like to see them put them into the SAP to make that circle complete. May not be needed, but it's there. So we don't have to address this again. But I didn't know election workers get paid, so put me down. I like to get paid to do that. But I would recommend we put it in the SAP, even if it's used in the future.
You don't have to get paid. You can opt not to get paid. I never got paid. I made the decision to donate my money, my time to the town and volunteer. So I never got paid when I worked the polls. But as a poll election worker, because they have to fill out the 1099 and do a query check, they have the option of getting paid. In Maynard, we do it the opposite way. Our board of registrars, Kathy Herrick called me. We talked about this last week. The board of registrars get the stipend and my election workers get minimum wage. They get paid the minimum wage, which just went up to 13. I think it was 13.50 from 12.75 that they get paid, because it's going to be a bigger. They're looking to pass in legislative Secretary Galvin that mail-in ballots now become the norm, that anybody can request every election a mail-in ballot. And, you know, to process 5,000 to 6,000 requests, the town clerk and her assistant can't do that in a 3-week time span to get them mailed out, to get them back in. So that's going to be a budgetary financial burden on these towns to care for. I had 6 people working, 8 hours a day for 3 weeks before the election at the 12.75 to be able to complete that task.
So I'm just looking at our job or class titles there. We don't, the registrar for the town is not part of the SAP, correct?
No, not currently.
And is the question, should they be?
I think the goal is to pay them minimum wage. So right now, I believe it's just as long as they're paid above the federal minimum wage, that could, any rate of pay higher than federal minimum wage is what they can receive.
Does putting them in the SAP imply some different pay schedule?
What do you mean?
In other words, can they follow just minimum wage? Is there some implication that there's a cost of living increase every year or some other schedule for raises that wouldn't be there if they're not in the SAP? No.
Right now they're in like nowhere land,
Yeah.
essentially. So
Is that a year-round position, Heather?
it's yes, yeah. An
The
appointed.
registrar is, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I was under the impression that anyone, if they weren't in a part of a union in town, like police, fire, whatever, that they were part of the SAP, but you're saying that's not the case? They're in no man's land?
Right, and that's why we're trying to add them to the SAP.
I would kind of consider what we did with the DPW when they had part-timers come in working at the, getting paid a stipend for plowing. We changed that. So I think it's all in the same category. Is that kind of correct, guys? That's why I would recommend to put it into the SAP, but it'll be a continuing see you next year job, I think, one of those things. And for the record, I would take the money from the town if I was doing it. I'd do it for you, Joe, and I would buy dinner, but yes, I would do that.
So we have a full-time, again, this is just my ignorance on how elections are run in town or any town, I guess. But so we have a town registrar that handles all these, the ballot process and whatnot and organizing. Are they the ones that hire, let's say, poll workers for the day of election, stuff like that?
I think the town clerk does the hiring for the elections. So I have, when I initially drafted the job description, I had it for the election worker. And then I drafted and give it to the department head. In this case, it's the town clerk, Kathy, to review. And she's looked at it and she's splitting it up. So this is what your election workers do. This is what your registrars do. So from that, I'll have 2 job descriptions ready to go for our next meeting, and it will better define what this position does. So if we have to, hold off on, we're going to have to hold off on the article anyways, until we figure out the longevity piece. So I think if we address the longevity as well as these 2 positions and do the article at the next meeting, which will have to be within the next week or 2.
Okay.
And board of registrars, if I'm correct, are appointed by the board of selectmen to serve as election officials. Election workers are people that just want to work the day of the election. They're hired, as Julie said, by the town clerk. They're kind of like the warden, the people that when you check in, you say hello to and you check their name off. That's what election workers are, where the board of registers are really running the whole background of the day of the elections. They're doing voter registrations. They have access to the Massachusetts state system of elections where they can go in, and if you want to change from Republican to Democrat or Democrat, they can go in and do that. Election workers cannot. They're just people that volunteer for a specific job task and go and do that via the town clerk.
The registrars, they're equal delineation between both parties.
Correct.
And your town clerk is by default on your board of registrars.
As the clerk, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll bring that up at the next meeting then, Julie?
Yeah, I'll have the job descriptions for you then. We can approve that and hopefully the grade and the article.
And if you need us to meet more before town meeting, my schedule does a lot that if we need to do this weekly up until the town meeting or bi-weekly, I don't want anything not to get there because we can't meet I just want you to know I can.
Yeah, this will have to be submitted by the 15th of March. So. Okay. Next job description is the board clerk secretary, which already is in existence. We've just updated it a little bit.
Now, is that for all boards or just the board of selectmen?
All boards.
All boards.
Yeah, the various boards and committees.
Perfect.
All right,
What changes
what's
did you
been
make?
updated?
Yeah, what's been updated?
I know, you had to ask that, huh?
I think it was the virtual piece for
Yeah, it was.
meetings.
So under job environment, attendance at meetings may be required whether in person or virtually. Most meetings occur in the evening, and it also mentions that under the essential functions. Same under the education and experience.
Are you looking for a vote on this then?
Gotta approve it.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the updated job description of board clerk / secretary?
I will make the motion to approve the board secretary as amended.
Oh, no?
You got a second?
Second. I was waiting for you to say it, Dave.
I was waiting for you. You're a second girl.
All right, all those in favor, Joanna,
Aye.
Did you get Sue?
I just got started yet.
Oh,
That's one person.
just making sure. She's muted, so I just want to make sure. Sorry.
Dave,
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
Lou,
Aye.
and Eric says aye. Okay, so that is passed unanimously. That is the last item on the agenda, or no, town meeting article.
We'll have to wait on that
We'll come back to that. Okay.
till our next upcoming meeting.
All right, so if that is all, can we get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn at 6:08 PM.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got to do a roll call for this too.
Yes.
All right, Joanna,
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Eric is aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
All right, thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you for
Have
all
a
your
good
work
night.
on that.
Yep, thanks, Julie. Thanks, Heather. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Julie. Bye, Heather.
Bye.